The metric sample of a small plastic cup would be in the dimensions of the structural basis for its height. So height plus the basic matter of circumference around the height is actually an orbit of multiple cylinders at once. So this means if each cylinder has a point on the circle that's around it, not only does the cylinder have a base that is withheld to the rim of the circuit is the top part that seals the container off from the rest of the insides. So this number system is called pi. So pi is at the rate of E for the ideal law that I, which is the right angles of the circumference, is that each part of it has a numerical value that is referencing the relationship back into E. So if E times pi I to the plus one power is that there is no circumference at all anymore and just creates a monopoly cap. So these monopoly caps are actually part of the relationship to the lineation of grammar of the right angle. So at the right angle, not only does quadrant and anti-quadrant merge, this is where the linear angle of a quadrant is actually at a right angle. So there's a right angle at the linear angle, and that is called E. And that right angle at the linear angle is actually all around the circle and is decided by the values of the cup withstanding the cylinder. So, this is how the ability to monopoly occurs. It occurs by sealing off the cylinder from the rest of the values and then allowing for timelines on a Judaic star to occur. So if there are two samples, for example, there is the linear system, which is the index system, which means it has a dexter on it, which is a right angle dividing into multiple parts. This is how a X linear system develops in a Judaic star version, which is a triangle tetrahedron into one tetrahedron. So under the tetrahedron, not only does the first number have value outside of the tetrahedric circles, they are actually at the bottom cast moving leftwards at the same time. So not only does the matter of the second number take place at the first number, the second number is referring back to the first number, which is a latex of that number. And these latex numbers are actually part of who gets to have basement here. So the base would actually be part of the quadrant of the second one, which is left. So left quadrant would actually be whether or not the quadrants exist at all. And right quadrant would be whether or not they exist more to themselves. So this would be the greater quadrant quandary. So if a quandary happens, not only does the bigger shelf life of the entire shelf include itself, it includes the variables of the entire index to the right of it. And the same goes for the ability to maneuver inquiry searches, which is for definition. So definition is a leverage on capital value, which is non-existent, and has a circular navigation around each individual part of the Judaic star. So these are the shelf lives of how each quadrant is a circular value. So circular values have a top cap to it, which is a measurement of unitary value. So that means all of them have a location for E in them, which is how the quadrant of the index begins, by locating where right angle is. So not only are matrices both improper, they're both E at the same time as being the Judaic star.